Welcome to another exciting project in our Machine Learning Projects series. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of penguin data analysis using advanced clustering techniques. In this video, we'll walk through how to build a machine learning model that clusters penguins based on their physical measurements. We'll use k-means clustering to group the penguins into distinct clusters and evaluate the quality of these clusters using silhouette scores. To visualize our results, we'll employ t-SNE, a powerful dimensionality reduction technique. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand the step-by-step process of pre-processing data, applying k-means clustering, assessing cluster quality with silhouette scores, and visualizing clusters with t-SNE. So we will follow these steps. First, we'll load and clean our penguin dataset to prepare it for analysis. Next, we'll standardize the features to ensure all measurements are on the same scale. We'll use silhouette scores to find the optimal number of clusters for our data. Then, we'll apply k-means clustering to group the penguins into distinct clusters. Finally, we'll visualize the clusters using t-SNE to better understand the patterns. To get started, we need to import the necessary libraries. We'll be using Pandas for data manipulation, NumPy for numerical operations, Matplotlib and Seaborn for data visualization, and Scikit-Learn for preprocessing and clustering. Let's begin by importing these libraries. So import Pandas, import NumPy, also matplotlib.pyplot, and Seaborn for visualization, standard scaler from Scikit-Learn.preprocessing, k-means, and silhouette score. Next, we'll load our dataset. The dataset penguins.csv contains measurements of penguins such as culmen length, culmen depth, flipper length, body mass, and sex. We load the dataset into a data frame using the pd.readcsv function. By running df.head, we can see the first few rows of our dataset, which gives us a snapshot of the penguin measurements we'll be working with. Let's take a closer look at our dataset. It includes various measurements such as culmen length, culmen depth, flipper length, body mass, and sex of the penguins. Culmen length and depth are measurements of the beak, while flipper length and body mass provide additional physical characteristics. The sex column indicates whether the penguin is male or female. Now that we've loaded our data and inspected its structure, the next step is to pre-process the data to prepare it for clustering. First, we need to check for any missing values in our dataset. Missing values can affect the performance of our clustering algorithm, so it's crucial to handle them appropriately. We can check for missing values using the isNull method followed by sum. This will give us the count of missing values in each column. As we see, there are no missing values. All columns have 0 missing values. If there are any missing values, we need to decide how to handle them. In this case, let's assume there are no missing values. Next, we need to encode the sex column. Since machine learning algorithms require numerical input, we'll map the sex column to numerical values. We can use the map function to convert male to 1 and female to 0. So first, let's check the unique values in the sex column and then apply the mapping. After encoding, our sex column will have numerical values instead of categorical labels. Finally, we need to standardize our features. Standardization scales the data so that each feature has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. This is important because it ensures that all features contribute equally to the clustering process. We'll use the standard scaler from Scikit-Learn to standardize our features. First, get a new instance from the standard scaler class and name it scalar. Then, use the fit-transform method of the standard scaler class to scale our data and put the result in features scaled. After scaling, our features are now ready for clustering. Let's take a quick look at the first few rows of our standardized data. Note that we didn't use the .head method because features scaled is a NumPy array and not a Pandas data frame. So you see, all values are scaled. Standardization ensures that our clustering algorithm performs optimally by treating all features equally, regardless of their original scale. So now let's briefly discuss the k-means algorithm. K-means is a popular clustering algorithm that aims to partition a set of data points into k-distinct, non-overlapping subsets or clusters. Here's how it works. 1. Initializing the set of cluster centroids. The first step is choosing how many centroids we want to use, which we refer to as k. Once we have chosen the number of clusters, we select k samples randomly from the training examples and set the cluster centroids to be equal to the values of the selected k examples. Alternatively, we can randomly sample k different points in the solution space to initialize the cluster centroids. Assigning observations to clusters. Now that we have our k-centroids, we assign each observation, data point, to the centroid closest to it. Typically, we calculate closeness using the Euclidean distance. 3. Updating the centroids. Once all of the observations have been assigned to a cluster, we shift the centroid of each cluster to the mean of its assigned observations. 4. Repeat. The assignment and update steps are repeated until the centroids no longer change significantly or a maximum number of iterations is reached. After applying k-means, we need to determine the optimal number of clusters for our penguin dataset. To do this, we'll use the silhouette score, a metric that measures how similar an object is to its own cluster compared to other clusters. The silhouette score ranges from -1 to 1, with a higher score indicating well-clustered data points. For more detailed information about the silhouette score, you can visit the silhouette score documentation on the Scikit-Learn website. Let's start by calculating the silhouette score for different numbers of clusters, ranging from 2 to 10. We'll initialize a list to store the silhouette scores for each number of clusters. Then we'll loop through a range of cluster numbers, starting from 2 up to 10. For each iteration, we'll apply the k-means algorithm to our scaled features with the current number of clusters. After fitting the model and predicting the cluster labels, we'll calculate the silhouette score for these labels and append it to our list. By doing this, we can compare the silhouette scores for different numbers of clusters and identify the optimal number. When we plot these scores, we observe that the highest silhouette score is achieved with 5 clusters, closely followed by 6 clusters. For this project, we'll choose 5 clusters as the optimal number of clusters for our penguin data. By selecting 5 clusters, we aim to group our penguins in a way that maximizes intra-cluster similarity and minimizes intercluster similarity, ensuring meaningful and distinct groups. Step 4. Applying k-means. Now that we've determined the optimal number of clusters, we can apply the k-means algorithm with the number of clusters set to 5. We'll use the k-means class from Scikit-Learn, specifying n clusters as 5. Then, we'll fit the model to our scaled features and obtain the cluster labels for each data point. The labels we get will indicate the cluster each penguin belongs to, assigning a cluster number to each row in our dataset. This allows us to group our penguins into 5 distinct clusters based on their physical measurements, helping us identify and analyze patterns within the data. By organizing the penguins into these clusters, we can gain deeper insights into the similarities and differences among them. Now, we want to visualize our data to see the clusters. However, our dataset contains more than 3 columns, making it impossible to plot directly in a 3D space. To overcome this, we'll use a dimensionality reduction technique called t-SNE. t-SNE, or T-distributed stochastic neighbor embedding, is a powerful technique for reducing high-dimensional data to 2 or 3 dimensions while preserving the relationships between data points. This makes it an excellent tool for visualizing complex datasets. First, we'll reduce the dimensions of our scaled features to 2 components using t-SNE. Then, we'll plot these 2 components to visualize the clusters. The scatter plot we'll create will show the t-SNE components on the x and y axes, with each data point colored according to its assigned cluster label. This visualization allows us to see the distribution of penguins across different clusters. By looking at the t-SNE plot, we can see how well the k-means algorithm has grouped the penguins. If the clusters are well separated and distinct, it indicates that our clustering is pretty good. This visual confirmation helps us understand and validate the effectiveness of our clustering model. All right, we've come to the end of our journey through penguin clustering using k-means. If you're interested in diving deeper into machine learning projects like this one, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Your support means a lot and helps us create more content like this. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future projects. Whether it's penguin behavior analysis or any other topic you're passionate about, let us know. Your feedback drives the direction of our channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next project.